We had invited Elder Audrey Rivers to provide a welcome to the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, but for health reasons, she isn't able to be with us tonight. So we're going to begin tonight by acknowledging that we are on Coast Salish traditional territory, and we'll hold a special place for Indigenous understanding of health present in this dialogue, a holistic perspective, often represented by the medicine wheel for many Indigenous cultures and from which we have much to learn. My name is Shaheen Nanji. I'm the Director for International Development at SFU. On behalf of SFU and our project partners CUSO, VSO, and BCCIE, I'm pleased to welcome you to tonight's dialogue on Engaging Diasporas for Development. This dialogue is the second in a series of 5 dialogues with 3 major objectives. The first is to facilitate a network of members of the diaspora who are doing development work, often on their own time and in isolation. The second is to provide a space for members of the diaspora to tell their stories of the amazing work that they're doing and how being in the diaspora enables them to connect communities internationally. And the third is to get a sense of the latent potential for diaspora engagement and to consider how this potential can be unleashed. The project began in October last year when we undertook a scan of Metro Vancouver diasporas who are engaged in development work to get a better sense of what they're doing, what their motivations are, and what their needs are. Based on these findings, we've designed the dialogue series. The first dialogue on poverty and economic growth was held in January, and I see lots of faces around that were here for that dialogue. And subsequent dialogues, one on education, another on peace and security, and finally on development in general, will be held over the next few months. So what do we mean by diasporas? The term isn't simple, and it's sometimes incorrectly used as a euphemism for immigrant or ethnic minority. For the purpose of this project, we essentially mean people, like myself, living in Metro Vancouver who are actively engaged in effecting change in a remote place of attachment. In many cases, in addition to feeling an attachment to another home, diasporas also identify with being Canadian and may have even been born here. This duality or embodiment of diversity that diasporas possess is what we think gives them the empathy, cultural agility, and commitment to bring to bear on international development. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Joanna Ashworth, who's a Senior Research Associate with the Centre for Sustainable Community Development here at SFU and a co-director on the project. Joanna.
Thanks so much, Shaheen. Thank you very much, and welcome everybody. It's good to see people back who are here at our first dialogue in January, and welcome to newcomers who are just learning about this series. So we're here, as Shaheen says, to explore the untapped potential or to uncover the amazing stories of diaspora in development that are going on currently in Metro Vancouver. And we've got some wonderful stories to share with you tonight. We've got stories that we think will launch a very profound conversation about global health. So we've got a very full agenda tonight, and it's not by accident that we're calling this a dialogue. We really do want people to engage in an exchange of understanding. We want people to listen, not just to the things that they recognize and that they agree with, but to truly listen to what is different, what is unique, what is surprising. And not necessarily just to advocate for one perspective or point of view, but to really invite different perspectives. We feel that launching with storytelling is a way to really get at the complexities of the work that diaspora are doing, particularly in the health area. And we've got, as I say, a very rich program. We've also got some wonderful scholars here who work in the area of global health that we feel will also add, I think, a really good platform for us to talk about global health specifically tonight. I do want to say a few words about the room. How many, for whom is this the first time that you've been at the WAS Centre for Dialogue? Okay, so lots of newcomers to this room. So you probably walked in and went, wow, it's just like the UN. And in a way, we hope that it's not as much like the UN, but really its own unique space. You can see there's a microphone in front of every seat, and there's a button that you can push, but please don't push it right now. It's a little gray button, and what we'll do when we open up the floor for your comments and your own stories and your thoughts on what you hear from our set speakers is please be recognized by myself or my co-moderator, Ajay Puri, so that we can kind of line you up almost like air traffic controllers. So not everyone's pushing the button at the same time, which apparently is not good for the sound system at all. And these microphones are very, very good. You don't need to be really close to them. You can be about half a foot away, and it picks up very nicely. So you don't need to get in like that, because this is what happens. So when the time comes, please, we'll invite you to put your hand up. Some of the guidelines for us to have a really full dialogue and to hear from as many people as possible will be a few simple things. And AJ, when you come up and I introduce you, you'll have probably some other suggestions. But one of them is brevity. Remember, we want to share the space. And another one is be specific and be personal. So it's great for you to share a story from somebody else's experience, but we're really interested in the experiences that you have, and specifically related to the questions that we hope will generate a really interesting conversation. Something else for your comfort, you're sitting on some lovely chairs, but they may seem very low to the ground. And if you reach to the right, there's a lever there, and you just with your weight on the chair, you can actually pull the lever up and the chair should rise for you. So if you want to come up a little higher, you can do that. And basic comfort, the washrooms are downstairs in the concourse level, so just out these doors and down the stairs. Women's washrooms are at this end and the men's are at the other end. We also have a reception plan, so you'll probably, by the time we reach the reception, be bursting with things that you want to talk to others about, some of the speakers tonight. We've purposely wanted to have to finish the evening with a reception so that you can do just that. So the dialogue will continue and flow out into the main area. I just want to point out, there's a group, Narrative 360s. A couple of the photographers from this group who are here, and they're going to be roaming around and capturing the story of this event tonight. We're also videotaping for our we're not live streaming, but we're going to be putting the video up on our website. So all for educational purposes. If for some reason you don't want your photograph taken, just indicate that with something to ward off the paparazzi, and we'll make sure we don't use your photo. But we'd love to be able to. We're collecting the photos. We'll put them up on our website. And part of the project that we're creating is what we're calling a book of stories, and so we're capturing as many images and stories of people doing development work from a diaspora perspective as possible. So documenting all our events is really important to us. Now I'd like to introduce Ajay Puri, who is our co-moderator tonight. He is just a wonderful person who seems to know everybody in town. Every time I try to reach him, he's in 2 different meetings. He's an advocate for evidence-based decision-making, community empowerment, and he has for the last 10 years been volunteering, working, studying, providing important scientific research to improve the lives of many marginalized people, minority groups, sex workers, people suffering from mental health and addictions. And he has been a real agent of change. He's created all sorts of new initiatives in town, Bridge to a Cool Planet, the Rangi Changi Roots organization, nonprofit, Co-op Culture, and East of Maine. So all of these, I think, really demonstrate AJ's profound commitment to engagement. And so I'm just thrilled that he's co-moderating with me tonight. So Ajay Puri. What I'd like to do is, we'll pass it over to you, and we'll get started with our first presentation. If you want to add anything else to
Sure.
how we're going to operate tonight, please do.
Okay. Should I go up or?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, it's working here, so I'll just talk from here. Thanks, Joanna and Shaheen, for inviting me to participate. I really acknowledge the great work that they put in throughout the year and moving forward in terms of all the different events that are coming up. I think it's a great honor to be working with them and part of that team.